Oh, hey, what's going on? I just had the most fantastic day. Do I have anything clean to wipe the mirror or the camera? Let's see. Here's my pillow. Yeah, that's better. Look. Oh my gosh, the most fantastic day. But I'm going to stagger what I say until people start showing up. So people that are watching after the fact, either watch through or skip ahead like 2 minutes till people start showing up, because I feel like otherwise there'll be a lot of redundancies. I can't pick where to zoom. I got the most beautiful view behind me, but it looks white because I don't have an amazing camera. Pretty good. Waiting for people to join. I'll schedule these eventually. I had the most fantastic day. So you're here. And I'm not sure who you are yet till you say hi. Say hi, please, if you want. I got hired at that job. Oh, look, you can't see. Where'd it go? Come on. What? All right, cool. So when I got back here to my campsite, there were people right next to my site, like literally like half a foot from my tent. And it's easy to feel territorial because there's a whole beach. And like you have valuables and you're afraid people are gonna steal it, but the key is to not react, in life. And I'm trying to learn. I've got those anger issues. So I just got back from the job interview. There's people right next to my tent. And rather than, of course, being upset or letting myself think, because where attention goes, energy flows. I just think, cool, there's people there that are, oh, hi, puppy. Making my site feel that much safer, right? And so I start talking to them, and the one guy, oh, you can see it then, look. Maybe you want to smile? I want you to see with the background. It's just white. Damn. So I start talking to the one guy, and his name's Rob, and he's ADHD is a motherfucker like me. And basically, he's been in the black market weed industry his whole life, and he is my new best friend. I mean, I'm sorry for all my other best friends out there. There's room for plenty of best friends. It's not a singular thing. His girlfriend was getting so people are still popping up. I got back from my job today. I met these cool people, and this guy Rob is a black market weed guy. He's telling me like I knew you well. I could send you to LA and you could buy 100 pounds of weed, like legit, if you wanted. He gave me a bunch. Tomorrow he's gonna come back. He gave me like so much food and booze, and I don't drink much, but I drink. Give me water, a bunch of stuff. What he's telling me is that if I just don't go back to San Diego, just tell my friend to throw all that shit out, that if I fly to LA, I can stay in his skyrise apartment, and he'll give me 10 ounces of weed to fly back here. And I don't have to go back, and I can just tell my friend to just sell it for me and give me half of it and keep half herself. And there's like 10 ounces under her bed. That's a decent amount of money. But that's not what it is. He's just super nice, and he was very envious that I'm living in this tent right here. And I'm envious that he's sitting here with his beautiful girlfriend and his daughter and her boyfriend, and we're exactly the same age. So alike in so many ways and so different. Yo, Kibo, what's going on, brother? Thank you for stopping in to say hi. I'm talking about how I got the job today, and I got back and made some new friends. They're tourists, and how they're basically leaving me like a bunch of weed, a bunch of food, a bunch of supplies to share with the rest of the community, who I'm going to interview later. I'm part of a homeless community here now. I said today it's my first homeless community. It's my second. I've lived in the slabs. Just like talking to someone else who's ADHD is a motherfucker really makes me feel normal for a little bit. And I try hard to like put on a show, but I struggle. I don't feel normal. I don't want to be normal, but sometimes it's nice to have someone that understands you fully. And Rob made my day. Not even all the generosity. He's so generous. I'm like, it's the type of friend that I'm just going to struggle to keep up with on that reciprocal nature. But gave me so many cool drinks to share with the community here. He's gonna drop a bunch of weed and food and booze tomorrow. And again, he told me to fly out to LA and not go to San Diego and just basically take all that weed I panhandled and tell my friend to either throw it away or sell it and keep half of it for the money. And he's just gonna give me like a pound of weed. Yes.
Hi. You said my husband and kids out there. I don't know. I can't tell if it's out there. Like, I don't. I'm getting uncomfortable with them being out there so long. And I don't know where.
You want me to walk out to the rocks and take a look?
What?
You want me to walk out to the rocks and take a look?
Would you mind?
No.
I can't get out there. Like,
No problem. Yeah, I'll walk out. So the one lady's.
Would you mind? Thank you.
No, that's fine. Yeah, sure. Oh, you're great. Yeah, I'm gonna go take a look. So basically, I sent a family out the best way to the site, and this lady's stressed because her family's not back. It's probably because they see 20 turtles. So I'm gonna go reassure her that they're fine. I'll be back. I'll be right back. No sweat.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. Gotta make you feel underappreciated, but just to be clear with boundaries, no big deal. It was something you asked for. I didn't send your family out to sharks. Just be careful how you talk to people, no big deal. She accused me of sending her family out to sharks. They asked me where the fuck to go. So I ran over here and assured her, but I'm very clear with my boundaries lately, and don't be rude to a stranger who's helping you out. Come on. I forgot you're there and you heard me, but I've been very assertive lately. Not everyone likes it. I almost dropped my cheese stuff. Yeah, sometimes I go too far, but I spend so much time not setting boundaries. I gotta let people know how I feel. There's so much narcissistic abuse out there, and like, you gotta be clear, especially with strangers. I didn't send your family out to sharks. Come on. Whatever. So I met this guy, and he wants to send me to like, he wants to be my best friend, and he's basically some rich black market weed dealer in LA. We're best friends now. What's funny is we had so many synchronistic connections. What's that, D? No, Chemo, this lady was like giving me shit for sending her family off the way they asked to go. Where do we go to see the turtles? You go that way. You sent my family that way. They haven't come back. Karen. I'll still run into assure the Karen, and then I'll let her know that she should probably watch how she talks to people that are helping her. Honestly. Is that too much? Yeah. Avocado, lime. They're pretty well known. There'll be spots that are like generations long. Like, someone threw an avocado off the Hana Road, and now there's a tree that's been there for like, 80 years. Ooh, sorry, I'm hungry. What up, Patty? Oh my gosh, you have no clue. I'm diving down like 40 feet with no fins, leaving my camera in front of a turtle cleaning station where all these fish are coming out, feeding off the turtles, and because I'm not down there and the camera's just sitting there all right, like it's gonna take me so long to go through. I have so much footage, it's amazing. That was just the smallest bit, but I also struggle at taking compliments. Thank you, Patty. So I've been making friends nonstop. I had this point after that time with Agatha. Oh, you're sweet. The sharks are picky who they eat. Yeah, honestly, they are. I mean, the local natives, they believe that, like, they don't prefer the term native, sorry. I have to be careful. The locals. In Alaska, they're called Alaskan natives. They like that. In Hawaii, they don't prefer native because they come from Polynesia. So by calling them Hawaiians or natives, they almost take it that you're inferring they live in just some shack or some hut, and that it's only inferring that the Hawaiians can take part in this culture, whereas this is considered a part of Polynesia, which spreads from Hawaii to south to the Easter Island, and then over to New Zealand. So it's a huge area that Hawaii is a part of technically, which is called Polynesia. And so by calling them Hawaiians or local, or no, they prefer locals, Hawaiians or, had a few White Claws. By calling them Hawaiians or natives, you're showing disrespect to the people that are part of Polynesian culture who have just as much right here. So it's funny how culturally you have to be careful with how you word things because words do matter. Oh my gosh, so many roosters. I love the roosters. I tell them they're beautiful and say hi. There's a bunch of roosters this island is taken to feeding specifically here. And there's a bunch of cats. So the cats eat the pigeons, but they're cool with the roosters. You've never freedived? Oh man, come visit. I'm gonna be living in a tent till April, till I do the Appalachian Trail. Anyone that wants to visit, I'd meet you. I don't care who you are. No, I care so much who you are that I don't care how different we might be. I'd love if you came and visited. You're gonna be living here on the beach in Maui till I hike the Appalachian Trail. Oh man, so yeah, I don't know. I have all that stuff in Janine. I might just be like, keep what you want, give the rest away, throw it away. And I think I'm gonna believe this guy. He's telling me that my friends from PA could drive to LA and pick up 100 pounds for a good price, and it's good. Let's see, I'll get it. He gave me a bunch. And he's bringing more. here's an example of why you got to be careful being barefoot in Hawaii. Check this out. It's not that bad. These things they go deep. These thorns get a lot bigger. Some of them are like that long. They'll go that deep into your foot. They do not break. Where's that weed at? I don't know. I got a buzz. It's awesome. So for any new joiners, here we go. I got the job today at a really nice diner, which has a view overlooking a banyan tree that stretches a complete block. Banyan trees will drop down shoots from their branches that create a whole nother tree. So this tree is one tree that's a whole block. So it's called Banyan Court. It's a big thing in Lahaina, which is a huge art district on the western end of Maui. And bitch beer. Did you know that this is just wine coolers rebranded? Wine coolers were so big in the late 80s and mid 90s. They just rebranded it. That's what a fucking seltzer is, let's be real. A little bit less sugar. So here's the weed. Recreationally, weed is illegal in Hawaii, but they don't give a fuck. I've seen people selling weed, having ounces tied to their dreads, sitting 40 yards from the police station in Honolulu, shouting out that they sell weed and tourists buying it. They don't want to like upset tourists. Do you know how much money comes in from tourism? They want everyone to come, even you stoners. So like, dude flew in a private jet. So he brought a bunch of like blow and other stuff. Just to be clear, that's never been my thing. Maybe you guys like it, but random shit, since I'm just in a random ADHD ramble. Did you know that at Burning Man, there's a giant, even at Renegade Man with the year it was unofficial, there's a giant circus tent nightclub with like 300 people dancing, hardcore, and that there's a bar that doesn't accept money and you have to bring trash, and if you bring any piece of trash, they'll give you one beer, one mixed drink, one shot, or 2 lines of cocaine, that you can snort on the bar openly in front of everyone. So you could just go out and get like 50 pieces of trash and have 100 lines of coke at Burning Man. You guys never got my Burning Man footage. You know, oh man, you know, you want to hear some crazy shit? I don't know who's been following me that long, but you remember when I lived in Hawaii and I had the sleep paralysis? Where the giant wolf laid on top of me while my eyes were covered. And like, if you don't know the reference, you're gonna think I'm nuts, but it's weird as fuck because that's about when my battery that's when my SD card for Burning Man stopped working. And I'm not saying this means anything, I'm just being a weirdo. But my SD card stopped working. I sent my SD card to my buddy who's the media tech guy that I owed the $5,000 to for helping me get to my mom whenever she was basically dying and I got to save her life. Yeah, so I sent it to my buddy and he said it looked like it got burnt or chewed on. Definitely didn't burn it or chew on it. And it's so weird because that period of time when I was experiencing some dark stuff in Hawaii was when the Burning Man footage stopped working. So I could technically send all my Burning Man, dude, you don't even know. I have like 15 hours of Burning Man footage. Like crazy shit. And it's on this SD card that's broken. So I might go drop, now that I get this job, I might drop like $200 to get someone to retrieve the information because that Burning Man footage will blow the fuck up. It's so awesome. I mean, except for the parts where I'm dancing in booty shorts, like the whole time. But they're gold. And I was wearing a unicorn headband, so it's okay. Man, earlier this week after I left Agata, I was feeling super low and depressed and all that and drained, and I said to my good friend Janine, who I met in Slab City recently, you might know, she's the one who does the music for me now and then. I told her today I'm going to make friends, I'm going to manifest friends, I'm going to put energy towards making friends. And then I met Caleb that day. I met Mindy the next day. I met up with Elise and Dorian the next day. The day after that, I met Poe and Paul and Trevor and Monica and Daniel, all the people at the homeless community I'm now a part of. And then I made more friends with them. And then today I met Rob and Brandy and Dominic and Riley. Dom was the father. Or not Dom, Rob was the father. Names matter so much to me. I try so hard for names. And so basically I've made friends every fucking day since I put conscious energy towards making friends. And it's like, I think sometimes I put too much focus on loneliness, and so what do you get when you focus on something? You get what you focus on. Where attention goes, energy flows. Magic is real. What you think and believe and focus on and embrace is what you draw to your life. That's all magic is. It's not fireballs and love spells. It's manifestation, the quantum observer effect. It's spells. There's lots of names. It depends which culture. They all disagree what it's called, but everyone believes in it. Placebo effect, you know? We create the reality around us. And I guess I feel blessed because I have been struggling, you know? And I'm not just saying like I've been hungry or I don't have much, but like, I feel like I've lost so many senses of identity as a painter and a freediver and a backpacker and a caregiver for my mom and a photographer and an underwater photographer, and I keep losing these pieces of myself, and it's like through all of it I've just believed that it's all gonna be fine, I'm gonna make it happen, and I've really kept a good attitude through times that like I'll put a good face on but I'm struggling, and just here I am just flooded with all this energy, all the stuff I've focused on, and I just feel blessed. And I guess I just want to share that like it doesn't make me special, it doesn't make me better than anyone else, it just means that I am just as afraid as everyone else, and I just look it in the eye. I mean, do you know how afraid I was when I first got here? I'm a freediver. I spent 5 years freediving. I'm afraid of sharks eating me. But it comes to a physical point where, like, in my head I say, bro, if I'm going to be eaten by a shark on Maui while pursuing my dream, that's fucking epic. That's epic. There'll probably be footage on my GoPro. You know? I don't want that, but that feeling of just being okay, to have what we see in society as a monster to eat me, is so freeing. That the sharks who sense your electric field, which I'm sure has energy about your energy, keeps them away by not being afraid of being eaten by sharks. It'll keep them from eating you. I guarantee that. I haven't seen a shark here yet. I want to see a tiger. Never seen a tiger. An 80-year-old woman was eaten by a tiger 3 weeks ago here. It didn't just bite her. It devoured her entire body. A little girl as well. I hate to say it, but look who it's going after. Nothing to do with sex. It's not hitting up the free divers. It's not hitting up the scuba divers or even the snorkelers who honestly don't know shit. It's about fear. They sense fear. There's prey mentality and there's predator mentality. Is there something between? Ah, you do weird well. Kailua, yeah. There's a drum circle in Paella. You're in Kauai? No way. I'll come visit. Spine tingles? No way. Wow. Peter Frampton? Oh my gosh. Cebu City, Philippines? What? You guys are from everywhere? I don't think you understand how special I feel. Like, you are what make this world beautiful, because I could be doing this and sure I'd enjoy it, but like together we're helping spread the concept that chase your dreams, don't give a fuck what other people think. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't about being homeless, it's not about traveling, it's about, this is my dream. My dream as a kid was to pursue my father's lifestyle. He had next to nothing, he traveled and he did art. I don't need to do those three things and have a bunch of money and possessions to be living my dream. I've been living my dream for 10 years. Your dream could be to crochet like you did with your grandma. Your dream could be to start a permaculture farm. Your dream could be to write poems that you don't share with anyone. You know, so I guess I want to be clear that the point of this channel isn't that I think you need to live like me. Far from it. Let's be as different as possible and let's be friends. Let's learn from each other and grow. Let's chase our dreams. Let's be afraid and face it together. I'm sure I sound weird. But I don't know if I felt this blessed in years. I want you to come visit. Come visit. You can join this community. I'm going to pass the joint over to them. Thank you. So basically the community comes and they just give this homeless community here food and weed and stuff. So basically people just live here for like, again, 20 years and just rely. They don't even rely. It's just they don't expect anything and people bring it because I don't know these people well, but I would do anything for them already. They're amazing. I think I'm going to stay here. Honestly, what I'm going to do to this spot here is amazing. I have it all planned out. I've got this little spot with there's trees coming in like this. So it V's out from your perspective like a reverse Vanguard and then drops down. And then I'm going to put my tent right behind me, which I'm flattening out so it'll be above. And then I'm going to take a bunch of palm fronds and I'm going to weave like a wall for privacy so that I just have a little window looking out towards the sunset and the beach. And I pretty much have permission from the people that live in this community of homeless people. And, I mean, the thing is, I'm not just an urban anthropologist, which I consider myself. I've been homeless for well over 5 or 6 years of my life total. The first time I was homeless, I was 19. When I was 17, my mom stopped getting the Social Security check from my father who had passed, who had a disability from a back that was fucked up from her surgery. And so when I was 17, I graduated high school, my mom had me leave that day because she no longer got the checks. I love my mom, you know that, but she had a lot of struggles. She was mentally ill, and it wasn't easy. So I left when I was 17, which I'm glad. And I came back when I was about 19, and I stayed there like 3 months, and then she found weed, and I came home. All my stuff was in trash bags. I've probably been homeless about 8 years in my life, to be honest. I'm 40 next year. So all my stuff was in trash bags, which to me was like, somehow it's triggering, it's just like totally devaluing your life whenever like, I don't know if you've ever come home to all your stuff in trash bags, but they're just words unless you've experienced it yourself. You know, so I experienced that at 19, which was tough. It was just weed. And I went and I lived with this guy, Tony. Tony was red-haired. He was 30, which was an old man then. I'm 40 now. It's funny. And I was 19, and he had a homeless site on the Carlisle Pike in Pennsylvania, right by the Unimart, in a farmer's grove that he was allowed to be at. And I got to stay there, and it wasn't anything weird either. You know, I'm sure some of you try to laugh and think about that, but no, it's not. But here's what Tony told me the first night. My first night being homeless, I didn't have shit. And I went to this site, and he was just some guy I met at the Unimart when I would buy blunts and shoplift when I was 19 because I was poor and edgy. And he said to me, here's the deal. I'm a paranoid delusional schizophrenic, which is funny, I didn't know my mom was too. You draw the people in that you experienced as a kid and that you yourself might experience certain things like, so there's names for it in psychology, I'm not that smart. So he said to me, I'm schizophrenic, and he said, here's the thing. He said, I'm gonna freak out if I ever don't have weed. I'm amazing, I'm a nice guy, you can always stay here, but like, if I'm ever not high, I see red. So what do you say to me is that you have a lot of weed, you're welcome to stay here, but if you don't get me high, then you're not allowed to stay here. So I stayed there a month, and he was cool. You know, I never saw him again, Tony. He'd been doing this lifestyle for years. He was just living in a cornfield in Pennsylvania, in a grove of trees, and I was 19, and he taught me so much. You know what's really cool? This is actually cool. I never shared this story. I need to. I had horrible acne. Oh my gosh, I had the dot here that was like, growing up, I had the worst body acne. Just, it was my anxiety, ADHD, anxiety, everything. I had horrible acne. And you know what stopped my acne? My first time being homeless. I lived in the woods for a month and I never looked in a mirror. The moment, again, where attention goes, energy flows. When you have pimples, what do you focus on? Pimples. So what do you have? Pimples. And I literally didn't look at my face for a month and never had bad complexion again. But I learned to be homeless and happy. Wash, eat at age 19, 20 years ago. My first time. And again, it's probably been 5 to 8 years total of my life. If you add it up I've literally, at the peak of my alcoholism, you wouldn't even recognize me. First of all, I was hilarious. Everyone loved me. I was so funny. I threw the best parties. I was the best alcoholic. I would brag about how I could projectile vomit like 8 feet consciously once I got to that point I needed to purge. Like, I was the coolest guy ever when I was self-destructive. But yeah, I lost my train of thought on that one. Fuck, this isn't easy. Doing like an hour-long ramble. Oh yeah, but yeah, in the peak of my alcoholism, there were points when I literally was the guy sleeping on a cold park bench in the middle of the downtown capital district of the state, where I had nowhere else to go, and I slept on a park bench. Like, can you imagine? Like, I know, and like, obviously I'm homeless and I'm resilient, and you see me do a lot of stuff, but like, can you imagine me being so low in my life that I was homeless not by choice, by need? I haven't checked the chat in a while. Sorry. But I literally slept on a park bench nights where like it was so cold that I learned from a homeless person that you gather rubber bands from a library, and you gather water bottles from the trash can, and you wrap all the rubber bands around the water bottle. Then you go and you find somewhere that has like hot water at a gas station where they're like, you know what I mean? You can pull the thing and do the hot water, and you fill it up with hot water. The rubber bands act as an insulator. And then you take that and you stick it up under your knees, one under each knee and one under each armpit. So when you go to sleep without like a blanket on a park bench in the city, that you don't fucking die. That's when I learned from the homeless people. There's actually a site for homeless tips. Like, I learned how to charge my cell phone and stuff behind a soda machine or a lottery machine or something. You know, I still use that trick. I've been homeless. Like, I guess I'm more recounting the spots I've been homeless, not out of choice, you know. And again, I'm sorry, I'm on a ramble. I'm gonna look back through the chats, but I'm just rambling. I care what you say, and I'm gonna go back and check. But so my first time being homeless then I lived in my car for a while as a kid. Oh, bye. Thank you. See you. Sorry, I'm abrasive. I suck sometimes. Bye. No sweat. I should have been more understanding. Bye, guys.
That was awesome. Really appreciate all the advice. And I'm sure you're reading the sunset too. Perfect evening.
Todd, good night. Bye. It's the lady who I like kind of gave a shit. You heard me too. It was embarrassing. Sometimes I forget you're here in circumstances like when I'm cringy at setting boundaries, but I'm finally setting them, and I won't be ashamed. I'm never gonna learn how unless I try. So maybe that's an excuse to abuse strangers, and I'm figuring it out. The fact that I question it, and whether like, you know, I don't just assume I'm always right. I feel like that's what makes me not worry that much that I'm totally ill. But yeah, sleeping in the car, I had the same issue as this hammock. You know about hammocks? You gotta sleep diagonal. Like, you gotta set it really loose and not tight, and you gotta put your leg on one side. If you do this, you're more flat. It's the trick to hammocks. There's a whole website, yeah. Most people that sleep in a hammock, they don't know. I probably slept in a hammock for like 2 or 3 years of my life. Probably slept in a tent for like 3 years of my life. I've had apartments where I slept in a hammock. If you look into it, they actually say If you do it right, it's healthier to sleep in a hammock than a bed. But a study will tell you anything you want. We're talking about homeless life now. Huh, this is actually good. So, I was sleeping. Oh, this is nuts. You want to hear a story? You like darkness? Or should I stay to light topics? Let's see. Someone answer. Fuck it. I like darkness. It helps me realize my shadow self, which we all have. So this lady, Kathy, I was dishwashing at this place called the Holiday Inn, and they had fucking crazy weddings, and I was the dishwasher for the banquets. So she knew I was living in the car behind the hotel for a couple of weeks. I was having back issues at like 19. I forget the timeline exactly, but she invited me to come stay at her place in Harrisburg, but she was in the hood. And it's funny to think like the hood of Pennsylvania, but I'll tell you what, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, there's a whole section that the police will not go in, where there's literally people that are part of big gangs, because Harrisburg is the distribution capital of the East Coast as far as like capitalist like open market, but it's also the distribution capital of the East Coast for the black market. And they're real hush-hush about it, but they're pushing everything up and down the East Coast out of that place through the black market. So the gangs, I'm sorry, they're affiliated with the Irish Mafia, who's affiliated with the government and the police, and it's all corrupt as a motherfucker. But so I was living in the hood where like, dude, it's rough. Look it up sometime. It was actually, when I lived there, per capita, it was the murder capital of the United States, the highest. I moved to an apartment when I lived in Harrisburg later, and 2 people got shot and killed within an eighth of a mile on my street that week. So I was in this spot staying there in the hood. My key was to just be me and say hi to everyone regardless and just keep walking and smile. So no one ever talked to me. They always looked at me like I was a cop because, especially as a kid, I looked like a fucking cop. I didn't do the facial hair forever. I stayed there. Her son, Cole, he was telling me once he got ratted on. And never mind, I shouldn't share this. Yeah, I can. I will. He got ratted on by some girl. And he literally told me that his friends from Perry County up in Pennsylvania, they went and like, I guess I should have just called the police on the people that, I guess, technically telling you I'm a felon and you're a felon for knowing too. So we should all turn each other in and all go get interrogated. I'd say it's bullshit, but yeah, I got some kid telling me how basically he got snitched on and went to jail, and some young girl. It broke my heart hearing that. It's crazy to realize how much goes on that just people don't talk about. But eventually I got to the point where I was a kid and I wasn't appreciative and I was not contributing, and I just took advantage of Kathy and her family and just stayed there. She had another guy who she had adopted, but I kind of think it was a weird situation where she would like bring young men into the family, and it was a little more than that. I don't fucking know. But she was sweet, but I was taking advantage and I left. And yeah, I think by the time eventually I was about 25, and I was so deep into my alcoholism, that's when I was blacking out every night for months on end. To the point where people knew that I remembered their name, and if I was sober, I wouldn't, but I knew their name drunk. So technically, that sounds like some alter ego schizophrenic shit. So I've probably been on the spectrum, and it's just a matter of how much I dip into dependencies, which now is just weed and an occasional beer. But I literally remembered someone only when I'm drunk, because I would black out for like 6 hours a day, every day, for months on end. And I got to the point where I just would not pay my rent, and I got evicted, and I lived on the park bench, and eventually I went back to my old apartment. And every night I'd work. I did 14-hour shifts for 90 days straight through the peak when I had a psychotic break that I was not diagnosed for, and it changed my life for the better. I was working for this guy at a restaurant, and I should be careful saying names, but it was like a South Miami Beach style restaurant in downtown Harrisburg, and he had all these cronies that never worked, but always had so much money to spend everywhere downtown and this and that. And I mean, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna sound lame, and you guys hated when I said this last year, but one of my biggest things I was tested for when I was IQ tested young was pattern recognition skills, so I can like pick up on patterns that are very like abstract. And it became obvious that it was like a prostitution ring that was run out of the restaurant, where like they were like hiring certain girls, and some of them would disappear as the owner's assistant, and like they would only have girls on 2 days. It was a showroom for young women that were being prostituted out in the downtown district. And they had me and my buddy John as the servers there, the only men, because we could like basically be supervisors. We were the lead servers, and we could lift chairs and do stuff. So we worked double shifts, 14-hour shifts every day for 90 days straight. And basically it was like, it was like a drug ring / prostitution ring done out of a restaurant. And when I realized what was going on, I talked to the wrong person and I got like snitched out. And like, it was scary because at that point I was literally climbing up trash cans and climbing a wall at night to climb up on a balcony of my old apartment and go inside to this trash department where I never cleaned it. Trash was everywhere. The shitter wasn't working, the water, electricity wasn't on. I would just like piss in there, it just smelled. It was a crack house that didn't have crack, it was just booze. And I would do that for 3 months. And every morning I'd wake up in this third world condition, go across the street to a gas station and wash my armpits and go work 14 hours to spend it all at the bar every night. It's crazy. I don't know how I lived, honestly. But whenever I told the one girl working for management that I was pretty sure that there was like an Irish mob, because if you look up Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, what's the mafia there? It's the Irish mafia. And the police are all connected, they're all Irish. It's super corrupt. It's right next to DC. And I told the wrong person and I got told on and they like fired me. And I went back to my homeless spot, which is funny because when a place is foreclosed by the bank who owns it, the bank, who's connected to who, everyone, so this place where no one knew where I was, where technically people knew where I was, literally I come back from getting fired at this job and this homeless place that I was breaking into every day. At that point, I wasn't in my old apartment. I was in the upstairs. I broke into further parts in this huge apartment. I had like this multi-floor apartment where I was squatting in the fucking city. And dude, it was actually tits. I'm fucking crazy. You don't even know how many stages of myself I've gone through. And I get back, right? And on the dry erase board, real big, you're never gonna believe this. Huge smiley face. Johnny Law was here, your days are numbered. So here I am telling the manager at my job at a place, it's like telling Batman that you think he's Batman and you're trying to blackmail him. Remember that scene? So I told this girl, she told the manager, he told the owner, I was fired. I walk home from my job. And where I'd been, which some may know, like the police or other people, randomly within that 6-hour period I got fired, is a death threat from the police. I would have to be a really fucking creative liar to make all this shit up. So, panic attack, complete psychotic break. All of a sudden, like, your sensitivities, I don't know if you know, but like during a psychotic break, your senses go up a lot. You know, you're very, like, lights are brighter, sounds are louder, smells are stronger. You become very, very sensitive. You know, spiritual communities, they call a psychotic break a spiritual awakening. And it's usually a point of extreme low that breaks you into the state that connects you further into the spirit world, the multiverse, the higher dimensions, which we call crazy. And in that point, once you teach yourself to heal yourself from that, you work more towards the role as a healer, because a healer generally has to know how to heal themselves. So usually shamans were people that were mentally ill that healed themselves and taught others in indigenous culture. So psychotic break, lost it, full on suicidal, like probably third time in my life. And actually thought about murdering someone. Shit, I don't know how many people I told you that. I had a friend, one of my best friends, he's got IED, intermittent explosive disorder, and he basically freaks out and has these violent tantrums from nothing and just blames everyone for everything. And IED mixed with narcissistic personality disorder means they don't have the remorse period afterwards. That's what my mom had. That's what some of my best friends had. That's what maybe I have. You hear me freak out of that lady? I just keep it in check. So my buddy, we go off, and I'm like, I gotta get away from the city. Literally, I had a death threat from the fucking police. So I shut the fuck up, went out to Carlisle, hadn't talked to my mom in 3 years, reconnected with her, made friends with her, forgave her and let her forgive me. While being homeless in town, 40 miles away from where, again, I had a death threat from the police, and I just shut the fuck up. Was homeless for a few months. Got off the booze. Rebuilt my relationship with my mom, helped her heal, helped me heal. And it was the transition of my life that led to this very moment you're watching. I went up in the woods with my friend camping before I went to my mom. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was on the edge of suicide. And I'm with my buddy Roger, who I don't talk to now because I've learned to start cutting out toxic people regardless how much I care about them and how much they struggle. It's not my fucking job anymore to take care of what my brother calls project friends. There needs to be a symbiosis. You know, sometimes you give for selfish reasons, and that's what I always did. I always went out of my way for people because I was trying to build myself up in my own head. I've learned, and I'm learning. But so, gotta leave names. My buddy, we go out and we get pizza that he pays for, but he's just, ID as a motherfucker, and I accidentally kick his leg under the table, and he fucking kicks me hard as fucking the shin. And I'm at a point where I'm like, literally, I've given up on my life. This is before I talk to my mom and fix things. Again, I'm talking for anyone new about homelessness and stories of homelessness and the progression of my 5 to 8 years of homelessness in my life, which I'm fully embracing now. So one of my best friends, one of the only people who cares about me in this situation, in this moment, is someone who's feeding me with a stick in his hand. Kicking me under the table because I accidentally, like, hard as fuck. So what do? I kick him back hard as fuck. Because he's always expecting me to just back down, so he kicks me back hard as fuck. So I took the whole fucking pizza he bought, and I fucking slapped it in his face. I got up and I go, "You're a piece of shit. You don't deserve anyone in life." And I walked out. He fucking grabbed me by the neck, put me in a chokehold, dragged me out to the fucking street like he's gonna kill me. The Chinese people who owned the fucking pizza place, they didn't know what was going on. His face looked like he's covered in blood, but he's covered in pizza sauce, you know? And I'm just like, what, motherfucker, what? Like, I got nothing to lose. And unfortunately, with people with IED, especially with narcissistic personality disorder, they only react to, like, matching their energy levels, which is not healthy because they want you to become them because it condones their behavior, and they won't seek help. And that's what I did, you know? What, motherfucker, what? So he let me go, and honestly, my plan, and I'm telling you, I really had a point in my life I was ready to murder someone. I shouldn't be sharing this live on YouTube, but you know what? It's me. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to share how I feel because you might have moments you identify with you've never been able to share. So I went up that fucking mountain with the full intention to grab a rock, wait halfway up the trail, ambush him, and bash his fucking head in and go to jail and not give a shit. I think that was the lowest point of my life. I love the guy, even as a friend now that I won't talk to. Yeah, I love him. But you don't need the people you love in your life. You should only have them in your life if you want them and if it's an equal energy exchange. Otherwise, we just hit 8 billion fucking people. Like 2 months ago. There's plenty of others. So I didn't murder my friend. I was ready, I was sitting ready, and I didn't. Change of heart. Luckily, he's a slow fucking hiker, honestly, because if he had been about 10 minutes earlier, he would have never seen this. I do not fucking lie. And I chose to go down, and my mom let me crash in her room now and then. She was on, like, HUD, so I couldn't stay there. But stayed in a hammock. In a park in the wettest June for like a decade in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Got a job at the Gingerbread Man. Carlisle's where the Jim Thorpe, where like the Redskins were idealized from. Like Jim Thorpe brought Native Americans and taught them to be proper and American, which was a big deal. They stole them from their families and taught them to be white. Taught them football. The Redskins trained in Carlisle. Dickinson School of Law, which I've read is actually a CIA think tank, where they're teaching people how to become plants in the School of Law, nursing, and teaching, because that's what they focus on. I've heard in some lectures online that it's actually the U.S. Army War College is right there too. Shit, no lie. There's some weird shit heavy into the occult, that area for sure. I grew up in darkness. But where was I at? It's easy because I was homeless. I had a few beers. Anyone that's new, I'm trying my best. So I went to my mom, and I stayed like a 1 day a week to get a shower, and I rebuilt my friendship with her. But the thing is, rebuilt my friendship. Her and I were so close until about the age of 4, and then that's when her mental illness got bad. And For some reason, she focused on me with abuse and coerced my sister to do the same. So, unfortunately, that's what's led to some of my issues with insecurity about women. Uh, but it's the past. We rebuilt things. Healing isn't a one-stop shop. I didn't just get better. I've got to keep focusing on it. And we rebuilt that, and it helped so much. So I put myself back together, and I realized I didn't want to be a boozer, you know? And I'm homeless in Carlisle, right at the halfway point to the Appalachian Trail. There's Venus. Look at Venus. See it? Please don't be like Agatha. That's fucking Venus. Don't question me. I'm sorry. Oh, how do you know? Do you not have an app? Sorry, that shit gets old. I fucking lived outside my life. That's why I fucking know. Venus, Jupiter. I don't even have to look. Pleiades, Mars, Orion. You fucking live outside, you start to notice the patterns of which ones go faster and slow. That's Venus, the morning star. So, my mom and I rebuilt our relationship. It was beautiful. She had this neighbor named, oh my gosh, neighbor named Lloyd. Lloyd was this really overweight man. My mom was morbidly obese too. He had a crush on my mom, but he was basically a guy that was of lower than average intelligence who would just put on a lisp and act overly mentally challenged to get his disability. So to everyone, he'd be like, well, I don't understand. Like a bad actor playing a mentally challenged person. But I got to know him, and he basically just like let me hide behind a series of couches. So he'd have like caseworkers come in, and I'd be like hiding. We're talking the age of like 27 now, and stages of homelessness. So again, it was more to get a shower and have some sense of community. But Lloyd eventually started telling me that like he had hemorrhoids, and he was constipated and had hemorrhoids. And the only way that he could poop is if I shoved my finger up his butt. So I was like, oh man. I didn't shove my finger up Lloyd's butt, but that didn't affect my friendship with him. He was kind of slow, and he was just an amazing, beautiful person who was very fucking funny and unique. And I watched Sling Blade with him. You ever see Sling Blade? If you have, you'll get it. He loved it. Oh man. So I lived there, and I'm just like, hey, I'm fucking homeless. Like, what am I gonna do? I can only work 40 hours a week. What do you do the rest? I sat in the library, and I read every book on the Appalachian Trail. So when you live at the halfway point of the Appalachian Trail and you're homeless, and you don't want to like be just a homeless person, you know, you can have no home, you can be addressless and not, you know. I hit the trail, I hit the Appalachian Trail. I jumped on the fucking trail. I remember the first night ever camping alone. 27, July 4th. 27 plus 83, 2010. Damn, yeah, for sure. July 4th, 2010. That's nuts. I can remember the day. My first day camping, the very day. And I fucking went, my mom dropped me off. I go hiking up 3 miles into the woods. And I realized I didn't bring a flashlight. And it's dark as crap. And I was scared. Have you ever camped alone? So I'm sleeping. There's bears in Pennsylvania. I'm laying there. And all of a sudden I hear boom, 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 boom. And it's getting louder. And to me, there's one thing this motherfucker could be. Now again, what I'm doing is trying to learn to be productive and pull in the energies I want instead of just being homeless. But I hear this boom, 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 boom. It's gotta be a bear. So what do you do when you see a bear? Of course, you gotta get up, act tall, scream. So I jump out of the tent, scream like a fucking wild animal. Wah! Like a fucking mountain lion. And I look down in the valley, down towards Carlisle, and what do I see? It's July 4th. What do I see? It's fucking fireworks going off. The echoes bouncing off the cliff next to me. And I sat there and I laughed. And when there's a moment that you're by yourself and nothing but just external stimulus in the wilderness can make you laugh, that's a beautiful moment. I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. And only once since have I been afraid sleeping outside. And that was just being outside in the Everglades. Some real weird feeling. It felt like a panther was watching me. But I think, now that I've learned, I think it was some darkness. I think those places are connected to other places than this physical world. So I stayed in that spot for like 2, 3 months, and I got a place in in Carlisle. I got a 2-bedroom apartment. The only thing I had was my backpack and a hammock. So one time, my buddy Marty and my buddy James, they came over. They came to so I could show off my apartment. I have a balcony. I've got a kitchen. I got a living room. I've got a 2 bedrooms, and I literally all I have is a hammock. And these big fucking doors from the 1800s. They're like that thick, and they're like 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall. They're so sturdy in the wall. So I set it up on the hinges, and I've been sleeping there for days. And my friends come over, and I go to show them my hammock, and how the only thing in the apartment is this hammock in the middle of the living room. It was rather simplistic and beautiful. And they're like, dude, I wouldn't. And I'm like, bro, I fucking sleep here every night. I jump in it. These 120-pound doors. One hits me, the other one hits me, and I'm literally under 250 pounds of doors. Fucking hilarious. I mean, I was lumped up and bruised, and it hurt, but sat there under the doors laughing my fucking ass off, as my friends did. So I was homeless then, and then I got an apartment, and then I stayed with a friend, and then I eventually realized that after 10 years of telling myself I'm gonna move to Hawaii and telling everyone for 5 months, and then I'm gonna move to Tennessee and telling everyone for 5 months, and then I'm gonna move to Alaska, and I made all these plans that I never fucking followed through. All I did was say, I'm gonna do this, and I would talk about it forever. And I did that for 10 years, so many places. At that point in my life, I said, I wasn't drinking. Do you know how much money you save when you don't drink? Going from a severe alcoholic, I had fucking money. I had money, just even smoking a ton of weed. Basically I put all my money towards booze, and now I had all this money towards, look at me, I don't have much stuff. So I told myself, I said, I am going to clear out this energy. All this negativity I built in Pennsylvania, my battery's low and I don't want to get the charger. This is getting good. So, oh, you're awesome. Love you guys. I'm sorry I'm not responding much. I'm talking about being homeless for over 8 years of my life, and the progression, the beauty, and the story behind it. And I just knew that if I left Pennsylvania without clearing out my energy fields, as in like rebuilding burnt bridges, making amends. I didn't talk to anyone in my family for 3 years. I rebuilt my relationship with my families. I went back to old jobs I worked and then left on good notice. I reached out to old friendships that I fucked over. I'm far from perfect. I fucked up a lot in life, and I went out of my way for about 2 years to build everything back. My philosophy was, if I left to follow my dream and I didn't clear these things out, I would bring it with me. So what you have to do is build things up to when they're great and then leave. It's a form of sacrifice. Sacrifice isn't just like animals or this or that or whatever that weird shit sacrifice is. You're giving something to the universe as a means of choosing what the cost is. I mean, honestly, I think they call that's what sacrifice is the universe is going to take. There's a cost. Sacrifice is your ability to choose. So you sacrifice this amazing life that you build. You take this amazing life and you build it up, and then you leave it all, and that's how you land somewhere special and amazing. So what I did was not just go to that spot, Tennessee, or that spot, Hawaii, or that spot, Florida, or Alaska, or out west, or all these fucking things that I told people for years and never followed through with. What I did was go to all of them. So I cleared out my energy, got rid of all my shit, sold it, gave it away, filled a dumpster full of it, threw it in the fucking trash dumpster, threw it in the thing for the garbage bin myself. And it was the best medicine I've ever had, getting rid of all my stuff in 2012. And I hit the road. I haven't looked back since. Since 2012, I've spent probably more than half that time completely homeless. I literally think I probably spent about 7 years total homeless. It's so hard to figure out because, again, from age 19 to 39, 20 years, I've been homeless a lot. A lot by choice, some of it not. But here I am, my second time, in a beautiful community full of homeless people that are amazing. Slab City's amazing. There's darkness. There's darkness everywhere. The thing about the homeless community is we don't have walls to hide our issues. Everyone in the world has the same shit. They can just hide it. The nicest houses are a fucking pigsty. People that are so kind to everyone and do missionary work are abusing their children. This isn't just how it is. I'm just saying they're examples. I'm not completely negative. I'm just saying that unless people just don't have walls to hide, we're the same as everyone else. I love being homeless. I love knowing that's Venus. And that Venus is going to pop down the other side of the sun and then pop back again over the course of like probably just over a year. And that Saturn is moving around faster than Jupiter is, which is moving pretty slow and keeping up with Mars as we go around. Like literally keeping track of the chronology of how the planets move. Like it's a beautiful thing. I feel connected. It helps with my photography. It helps with people sometimes. I like who I am, and it's taken a long time to get here. And I guess I just want to share that what's helped me is less, having less. What's helped me is letting go. What's helped me is smiling regardless of how I feel. And what's helped me is trying my best to make others feel good. I'm far from perfect and I'm not always on the right path, but overall I like the direction I'm headed. And I feel blessed to share it. I think that's it. The community over there is playing some ukulele, eating some food provided by the community, sipping on a couple cold beers that I was offered by that guy Rob. And they're about to smoke a big joint that I'm gonna roll up right now. Thanks for letting me share. It really means a lot to me. Meeting all these people, it's just reminded me of why I started traveling. My father passed and I never got to know him. And rather than hold resentment and be upset, I'm just embracing his lifestyle, just imagining that he's been that guy on the beach that's made friends in LA and all over. It's almost magical that I never got to know him. Because it's a myth. It's a legend. And no matter what, I'll always feel like I never keep up, but who knows? It's not about that, but I could have exceeded my father and I'll never know. I'll always have this bar so far ahead that no matter what, I'm always going to try to reach my father, and it's almost beautiful I never got to know him. It's moments like now I would love to just sit on a beach, not even need to say something. But just knowing that he was here doing this, it's magic. Can't wait to make a painting and sell it. Maybe one of you guys will buy one, or a print, or a t-shirt, or a coffee mug, or a bumper sticker, or a sticker, or want to get like those things once I create a Patreon, and that's part of what you get, rather than just better videos. You get better videos and something each month, according to the tier systems. Oh man, it's coming. Especially now that I have this job I start tomorrow. I really sometimes question how much I deserve everything in my life. And I know I do. You have to remember you do. But wow, I feel humbled and blessed by every fucking day. I love you all. Hope yours is great. Come see me. I'll save a spot for your tent. You can come stay as long as you like. The island will welcome you. Just don't leave trash. And smile at everyone. I'm serious. Come out here. I'll be here till April. Can't wait to share my free diving. Holy fuck, it's been cool. That turtle video is nothing compared to what you're gonna see. Loving you. Good night. Sleep tight. See you in the morning. Pleasant dreams. I love you. That's what my mom said to me as a kid. And I'm saying it to you now. I love you.